Hey friends, hope you're all doing well. This is our weekly hope recap. Every day we post a daily insight and mindfulness question, and then at the end of the week we post a video maybe highlighting our favorite one for the week or one that we'd like to focus on a little bit more. And actually this past week there was two that I really thought were helpful, and they're both analogies, and I love a good analogy. I don't know about you guys, but for some reason it helps me to understand sometimes these really complex concepts in personal development and just life in general, that I love a good analogy. So the first one was on Tuesday, and the insight was, are you standing in a bright room with your hands over your eyes complaining that it's too dark? So this came from the book A Return to Love, I believe it's called, by Marianne Williamson. Actually, all the insights this week came from that book this week because that's what I'm currently reading. And she was explaining that that's what a lot of us do, is that we're standing in the light, which is love, and it's God, and it's universal intelligence. We're standing in that beautiful, perfect light, but we have our hands over our eyes. So basically we're in our own way. And the reason why our hands are over our eyes is because our ego is so focused on past events and future events, right? So a lot of times we focus on negative things that happened to us in the past, and then we have a lot of anxiety about uncertainty in the future. Especially right now with what's going on in the world. But I mean, just in every season of life, even without a virus, it's like everything can change, right? And that can bring on a lot of anxiety if you focus on the fact that anything could happen tomorrow, right? Good or bad. So the way that we can start to take our hands down and start to just bask in the light, which I love that analogy because there's little things that I like more than just laying in the sun and feeling that warmth on my skin. I feel like there's something just more than the physical when I feel that, right? It just feels so comforting. It feels so alive and like connected when I do feel that. And that's why I resonate with this analogy so much, is because I just want to be in the light all the time, right? I want to feel that warmth on my skin. I want to feel that presence. And the best way to do that is to be present, is to be in the moment and not letting our thoughts be so wrapped up in the past or the future. And an easy way that you can do this is just when you're feeling either depressed or anxious, because depression has to do with being upset about what has happened to us and not being able to kind of break free from that. And then anxiety comes from being afraid of what's to come. So anytime we're feeling those emotions is to just be present and stop, take a few breaths. Focusing in on your breath is the easiest way to be present because it helps you to focus on what's happening right now, which is your breathing, which is always happening, right? If you're physically alive. So coming to that breath and then just thinking, am I okay right now? What's happening right now that I need to give my attention to? So even if it's something as mundane as doing the dishes or doing the laundry, it could feel so joyful if you are just making that your purpose for that moment. Instead of thinking of this grand purpose of what you're going to do in the world or what's going to happen in the next few months or years or whatever, just thinking my purpose right now is to do these dishes, and I'm going to be present in that, and it's so strange that just shifting your focus can just make you feel so much more at ease, because it's taking that block down. It's taking down your hands, and it's just being in the light of the present moment. Of course, other ways of doing that is yoga, meditation. A lot of people find that in running. A lot of different ways that you can find that it's easy for you to be completely present and focused on what is happening now instead of another time. Your ego cannot exist in the presence, and your ego is what is getting in the way of you and God, essentially. So be present. So that was Tuesdays. And then another one I just wanted to touch on was from Thursday, and also came from the same book, and she talks about how there's no such thing as a gray sky. There is only gray clouds that come over a blue sky that is always there. So coming back to our thoughts of the past and the future, we can really only, our ego can only really think about the past and the future. So when we focus on those thoughts, we're actually not focused on who we truly are. We're focused on who we think we are, or who our ego tells us that we are. So the way I like to think, and it's really confusing to a lot of people to think this way, because we're just like, yeah, our thoughts, that's me, right? That's me thinking. But in reality, it's not. Like, if you think of yourself as the sky, you are that perfect blue sky. And then your thoughts are like the weather. It's like the clouds that pass by. And sometimes they're pretty white, fluffy clouds, and sometimes they're gray, dreary clouds, and sometimes they're even storm clouds. And that doesn't change the fact that that perfect blue sky is behind those clouds, and it's always present. It's just that we can't always see it, right? So thinking about our thoughts in this way, I think, is so helpful, because then when we do have these reoccurring negative thoughts, or when we feel like we're overthinking, or we're trapped in this like feeling of depression or anxiety, we can look at it as temporary, right? And we can come back to that thought of that perfect blue sky is always there. My true essence, my perfect peaceful self is always there. It's just behind these temporary clouds that just need to run their course. They just need to kind of float by. And we can just let them float by without engaging with them too much, and without, I guess, attaching to them, because we know that they're temporary. So, it doesn't have so much of an effect on us when we can think in those terms. So I thought those were two really great analogies from the book that I'm currently reading right now. So I highly recommend it. And yeah, I just wanted to touch on those a little bit more and share them with you. Some awesome things are going on for Hope Warrior Project. We've never been more committed to bringing more hope into the world, especially because the whole world is feeling a lot of hopelessness right now, or a lot of uncertainty. So this has just given us a new fire for what we're already so fired up about, right? It's just, we feel like there can never be enough hope in this world. It needs healing no matter what. So we've been doing these Hope Warrior Academies, where we take a book and we take a community of, so far it's been women, a community of women, that we present the information from the books, much like I kind of did in this little recap of the book that I'm reading now, and we talk about it. We connect, we share experiences, and we try to really digest the information of the books, and not just read it, but really think about what we're learning and how we can apply it to our lives right now, and we support each other in that. And it's been such a blessing. I know I have certainly learned a lot. I'll read a book and I feel like I get a lot out of it, but then when I come into community with other people and hear, what their experiences are with the same topics, it just brings a whole new perspective and a new understanding. So it's been such a blessing. And so we've done a bunch of these academies already, and we've done 4 books so far. And they're all like personal development type books. So we've done Girl Wash Your Face, Girl Stop Apologizing, Rising Strong by Brene Brown. The first 2 are by Rachel Hollis. And then we just finished Own Your Everyday by Jordan Dooley. And so we wanted to offer up a free mini academy, just 1 week. And we're going to basically just recap our biggest takeaways from each book. So it's really awesome, because if you join, which is free, it's through a private Facebook group, you will get to hear how we found each book helpful. So it's kind of nice. You don't have to read the whole book. You could just hear about what our biggest takeaways are, and maybe if something really resonates with you, it'll inspire you to read the book for yourself, or to join future academies, or whatever the case may be. We just feel like people, maybe have a little bit of a new perspective on life right now because of what's happening, and we are all beginning to understand that how we show up in our lives really does matter, and that that our circumstances can be so crazy and out of control, but what really matters is how we respond to them and who we are as a person, right? So that's really what we focus on, is just being better versions of ourselves, so that no matter what's going on in the world, whether it's a virus or a loss of a job or whatever it is, that we can still find peace in who we are, and that we can like navigate through these temporary circumstances of this temporary world and not lose ourselves in the process. So last week of April, starting the 27th, we are going to have this free mini academy through Facebook. If you would like to join, just comment under this post or reach out to us, whatever. We will add you to the group. There's no nothing really needed for you to do. Just tune into the videos. There will be opportunities to build community and share insights with each other. So if that's something you're interested in, then you can go ahead and participate in that as well. And it'll just give you some new insights and give you a little sneak peek into these books that we have really studied deeply. And it will give you a little taste of what a Hope Warrior Academy is and what its purpose is and why it exists. So that maybe you want to participate in future ones, or maybe you want to suggest it to somebody that you know that might be struggling in an area of their life. So yeah, so that's that. And oh, I forgot to mention that it's going to be co-ed. So we're really excited about this, because we don't want this to be unavailable to anyone, right? This is for everyone and anyone. Everybody needs hope. So this free academy is going to be co-ed. Men are welcome. We're not we're not being, what is the word? Exclusive. We're inclusive, right? So it's going to be co-ed, and yeah, we're excited. So share it with your friends and join us for a week of that. And then one last thing, we are selling these shirts. Intentional, mindful, hopeful, grateful, and this is based on our daily intention setting journal, where we just feel like this is the way that you need to show up every day, is your intention. Who are you, and how are you gonna respond to the events of the day? Because like we see, we can't really control how our day unfolds all the time. So are we gonna be present? Are we gonna be patient? Are we gonna be curious? Like these things that you would describe yourself, like no matter what's happening, is being clear on who you are and being intentional about how you show up in life. Mindful, we post these questions every day. We want to encourage people to be constantly learning about themselves, being mindful, like being curious, and just being excited about being a student of themselves, getting to know yourself in an intimate way, so that you can show up for the world and that you can make a real impact on the people around you. Hopeful, obviously, this is the Hope Warrior Project. We're all about hope and just having this belief that, no matter what happens in my circumstances, it is always for my good. And then grateful, because, like you can't get more of what you want unless you're grateful for what you've already been blessed with up to this point. So it comes in this blue shirt, and then it comes in like this baseball tee, and it's just a t-shirt, but it's so much more than that, because every time you put it on, it reminds you of who you truly are, and not who your ego is trying to convince you that you are. So God bless all of you. Thank you for watching this video. I know it went a little long, but I had a lot of exciting things I wanted to share with you, and I am so grateful for your support and your love, and I hope to see you in our free academy starting next Monday. Not this Monday, but the following Monday, April the 27th. Love you guys. Bye.